There is a misunderstanding happening in your home right now. Not a fight, not a problem you can point to. A silent one. The kind that sits quietly in the space between you and your dog every single day while you're convinced everything is fine. You show up with food, with walks, with a voice that softens every time you talk to them. And from where you stand, that's love. That's everything. But your dog doesn't speak that language. They don't process love through gestures that belong to the human world. They process it through something older, something biological, something built over thousands of years of evolution that shaped exactly how they read safety and trust and belonging. And here's what most owners never find out: your dog has already been answering that question, not in words, in behavior. 7 very specific behaviors that most people see every single day and never fully understand. Once you know what these signs actually mean, what's happening inside your dog's nervous system when they do them, you will look at your dog differently. Starting today, picture this morning. You walked into whatever room you were in. Your dog was already there, or they came in shortly after. They moved toward you. What did that look like? Hold that image, because that first behavior is where this begins. Watch your dog the next time they walk toward you. Not when you've called them, not when you're holding food. An ordinary moment you sit down. They notice, and they decide to come over on their own. Pay attention to how they move. A dog who is uncertain, or who hasn't settled their trust in someone, approaches carefully. The body is compact. The steps are measured. There is tension held quietly in the muscle. You can see it in the jaw, in the shoulders, in the way they read you before they commit. But a dog who knows they are loved moves completely differently. The whole rear end is involved. The tail isn't just wagging. It's pulling the back half of their body with it. The head is up. The steps are loose, almost bouncy. Some dogs produce a full-body wiggle that starts at the shoulders and travels all the way to the tail tip. Animal behaviorists call this loose body language. It is the physical signature of a nervous system that is completely at ease. Every muscle, every joint, every posture signal saying the same thing at once. There is no threat here. I do not need to protect myself. Dogs don't perform this for everyone. They reserve it specifically for the people their brain has filed under safe, onamine, and that filing doesn't happen from a single kind moment. It builds from every time you were predictable, every time you were calm when things went wrong, every time your dog's nervous system updated its records and quietly concluded this person is safe. If your dog brings their whole body when they come to you, that looseness is not a habit. It is a conclusion they reached about you. Observation by observation, moment by moment. And the second sign, this one happens when your dog is nowhere near you. You're at the park or in the garden. Your dog is several meters away, nose to the ground, completely absorbed in something you can't see or smell. And then, without any prompt from you, without you calling their name, without you moving, they stop. They look back. A quick glance, just to find you, just to confirm you're still there, and then straight back to what they were doing. This is called social referencing, and it is one of the most studied indicators of secure attachment in the animal world. The behavior was first documented not in dogs but in human infants. A toddler placed in an unfamiliar room will explore, but only up to a point. Periodically, they glance back at their caregiver. Not because they need anything, not because they're about to cry, but because the caregiver's presence is the anchor that makes exploration possible in the first place. Remove the caregiver, and the child stops exploring. They move toward the door. The world becomes too big without that anchor. Your dog does the exact same thing, and research into canine attachment has confirmed that this voluntary check-in glance occurs specifically with the person the dog is bonded to. Not with strangers, not with other dogs. With you? What it means is this: your dog is not just enjoying the park. They are enjoying the park because you are there. Your presence isn't background to their experience. It is the foundation of it. Every time they glance back to find you, they're saying something they have no other way to say. You are my compass, and as long as I can find you, I am all right. The third sign happens while your dog is completely unconscious, and it might be the most profound one on this list. There's a meaningful difference between a dog who dozes near you and a dog who truly lets go. Deep sleep, the stage where your dog twitches, where their paws move as though they're running somewhere, where small sounds escape them, is the stage of total vulnerability. Every protective instinct is offline. Awareness is gone. The body is completely defenseless. In the wild, deep sleep was when predators found you. That part of your dog's brain has not forgotten this. No matter how safe and domesticated their life is, that biological memory never fully disappears. The nervous system stays partially alert unless it decides not to. Watch the quality of how your dog sleeps near you versus how they sleep in another room or in an unfamiliar place. The difference is visible deeper, slower, more completely at rest. The muscles soften in a way they don't when the environment feels uncertain. That softness is not tiredness. It is the evidence that your presence has made safety into something real, something their nervous system believes completely and without reservation. The fourth sign is something your dog does in completely ordinary moments, and most owners barely register it when it happens. Before we get to this, one quick question. When did you last sit on the floor with your dog? Nothing in your hands, nowhere to be, just present. Think about that for a second, because that's the exact kind of moment this sign shows up in. You're standing in the kitchen, waiting for the kettle, thinking about something else entirely, and your dog walks over and presses the side of their body into your leg, not jumping, not pawing at you, not asking for anything, just leaning. Contact, without agenda. It is so quiet that most people barely register it. They reach down, give a brief pat, and move on. But what's actually happening in that moment is worth stopping for. In canine social behavior, deliberate body contact, initiated without an external motivator, no food nearby, no excitement, no trigger, is one of the clearest expressions of affiliation that exists. It's what dogs do with the members of their group they feel most bonded to. They are not seeking warmth. They are not anxious. They are simply choosing, in a completely unprompted moment, to close the space between you because their body is calmer when it is touching yours. Think about what that means. Your dog's nervous system at rest, on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, actively seeks physical contact with you, not because something is wrong, not because they need something, because being near you, being against you, is where they feel most like themselves. That lean is not a small gesture. It is a quiet, weight-bearing statement about the bond you share. Sign 5. This one is scientific, and you can test it yourself tonight. When your dog is settled and looking in your direction, yawn. A full, slow, completely deliberate yawn. Then, watch what happens. In humans, contagious yawning. Yawning in response to seeing someone else yawn is one of the most reliable behavioral markers of empathy. Study after study has confirmed the more empathetic a person is, the more susceptible they are to catching a yawn from someone else. For decades, scientists assumed this was uniquely human. Then the research on dogs began to surface on dogs. A study published in PLOS One found that dogs yawn contagiously in response to human yawns, but crucially, they do it significantly more often with their own owners than with strangers. The effect was strongest in dogs with the closest bonds to the person yawning. Read that again. Your dog is not simply watching you. They are tuned into you at a level that crosses into something that looks, by every measurable standard, like empathy. Their nervous system is so attuned to yours that even an unconscious, involuntary signal from your body triggers a matching response in theirs. If your dog yawns back, that is not coincidence. That is the biological echo of your bond. Measurable. Documented. Real? Sign 6. This one happens the moment you walk through the door, but the part that matters isn't the part you've been watching. Everyone notices the greeting, the spinning, the noise, the complete inability to get through the door without being celebrated. That part is visible. That part is easy to love. But the sign that actually tells you everything happens about 60 seconds later. Watch what your dog does once the initial wave settles. Do they find a spot near you and simply stop? Do they let out a long, slow exhale, the kind that seems to come from somewhere deep and just rest? That exhale is not tiredness. That is a nervous system completing a transition. Research into canine stress responses has shown that dogs left alone experience elevated cortisol, the primary stress hormone, for extended periods. The house is quiet. The routine is interrupted. And the person their entire biology is oriented around is gone. Not just missed. Gone in a way that registers physiologically. Your return doesn't just bring joy. It triggers a measurable, documented physiological reset. Cortisol drops. Heart rate slows. Muscle tension releases. The body returns to its baseline not gradually, but almost immediately, in your presence. And here's what makes this sign different from simple happiness. The speed of that reset is directly proportional to the strength of the bond. A dog with a secure settled attachment calms quickly because their nervous system doesn't need to check. It already knows the source of their safety has returned. Everything is all right again. If your presence alone is enough to bring your dog from wound up to genuinely peaceful within a few minutes, that speed is a measurement. You have become their emotional anchor. And they reset to you the way a compass needle resets to north. Not because they have to, because you are the only direction that makes sense. And the 7th sign, I want to finish here because this one changes how you see everything that came before it. When the world feels unpredictable, a loud noise outside, a stranger at the door, something unfamiliar that their instincts can't immediately place, where does your dog look? Not at the thing that startled them, at your face. They are reading your micro-expressions, the tension around your eyes, the set of your jaw, whether your breathing changed. They are gathering information from the one source their brain has learned to trust above all others before they decide how to respond to the world. If your face is calm, their alarm dials down. If your face carries tension, they escalate. Your emotional state doesn't just affect them. It is their instruction manual for how dangerous reality is at any given moment. This is called emotional referencing. It has been documented across multiple studies as a behavior directed specifically at the person a dog is most bonded to, not at strangers, not at other animals, at you. But here is what makes this sign different from all the others on this list. This one was not taught. Nobody trained your dog to look at your face when something frightened them. There was no lesson, no reinforcement. They arrived at it entirely on their own through time, through accumulated experience, through every ordinary moment where you were present and things turned out to be all right. Your dog didn't just bond with you. They built a case for you. Observation by observation, moment by moment. And in the moments that matter most, when the world feels uncertain and every instinct is firing, they present that case by doing the one thing that tells you everything about what you mean to them. They don't look at the threat. They look at you. Because you are not just their owner. You are not just the person who feeds them and walks them and calls them a good boy. You are the answer to the question their nervous system asks every time the world gets too loud: is this safe? And every time you've been calm, every time you've been there, every time things turned out to be all right in your presence, you answered that question. Again and again and again. Without knowing that's what you were doing. If you watched this and thought, that is my dog, that is exactly what they do. That recognition you're feeling right now is not you projecting. That's not sentimentality. That is you finally seeing what has been there the entire time. Your dog has been telling you they love you every single day. In the way they move toward you, in the way they check that you're still there, in the way they exhale when you come home, in the way they look at your face before they decide whether to be afraid. Every one of those moments was a message in a language you just learned how to read. Go find your dog right now and look at them differently. Every video on this channel starts with a question most dog owners have never stopped to ask. Then we go looking for the real answer. Not the simplified version. Not the comfortable assumption. The actual science. The behavioral research that takes years to surface and rarely reaches people in a way that feels like a real conversation. That's what we do here. If this changed how you see your dog, share it with someone whose dog deserves to be seen the same way.